Hello my crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. Today we are re-inking a marker. I went to use this today and as you can see it's pretty dry. So we are going to do a quick and easy re-inker tutorial. I've got my Mossy Meadow re-inker here. I'm also going to show you how to do the Memento Black. None of my Stampin' Up! Inks needed to be re-inked, but it's exactly the same process no matter what your ink pad is. Now, I have a pair of tweezers here. I'm just going to gently pull this out and lay it down. Now you want to shake your ink really, really well before you do this to make sure that everything is going to be mixed in and there's not going to be any pigment changes. And then we're just going to simply drip a few drops right into the barrel. Oops, pay attention to what you're doing so you don't get ink everywhere. And then you can see that it's kind of right at the top. So I'm going to tap it to see if we can get some of that ink moving down. That was just a bubble. So we're just going to add another tiny little bit here. Now it does take some time to absorb. A few taps just to make sure that we don't have a bubble there. Now I don't want to over ink it, so I'm going to close my ink bottle now. And then we're going to pick up our nib and put it in the same way. Now I haven't tried to pull off the writing end. I've only ever done the brush end, and you don't want to squeeze too hard because if you do, you could crush the nib. And then let it sit horizontally for just a few minutes to get the ink moving. And you can see this is, seconds after. If you want to use your ink sooner rather than later, you can store it straight up so that the ink runs to the end that you want to use sooner. But I am going to lay it flat, and then I'll re-ink my Memento, and then we'll see if that sat long enough. So again, with the Memento, I've had this bottle for I don't know, a couple of years at least, and it's the same technique for any of your inks that you're going to re-ink. Now I will say that if you do happen to grab the wrong re-inker and apply it to an ink pad, you can rinse it out, the ink pad out with water until it runs clear, and then just re-ink it like it would be a brand new ink pad. So Memento, the way I like to do it is in sort of a Z pattern one way, and then a Z pattern the other way, and then, oops, a little bit diagonal. Now, it will, until the ink starts to pool on top, you are good to go. Once it stops absorbing, you've kind of reached, or not kind of, you have reached saturation point. And then you need to stop. Now, it is quite heavy with ink. I'm just going to grab stamp block here and just kind of move around. You can also do this with a palette knife, with a spoon, just something to make sure that the ink isn't fully pooled in one specific area. I'm going to clean this off. It's time to get a new blotter page anyway. And this is washable with water, so I'll just wash off the palette knife after. So you can see really nice dark impressions. So yeah, that's how you will use your reinker with Memento, Versamark, any of the ink pads. Now let's test our marker and see. Oh, it's getting there. It's definitely darker than it was before. And that didn't take very long, maybe a couple of minutes. So I am going to let it continue to sit. And then the next time I go to use it, oh, this is not quite ready to go. The next time I go to use it, it'll be perfect. And it will have just as much ink. Oh, I should have done this one too. It'll have just as much ink as it needs to for me to get my coloring done. As always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.